Freedom. What is freedom? This can mean many things to many people. Freedom can refer to the lack of censorship in speech, the ability to speak your thoughts without any restrictions, or financial freedom, living life debt-free and without any burdensome loans. But what does freedom look like? What does it mean to be free? As many of you may know, and probably the main reason why you clicked on this video, is that Attack on Titan ended recently. The last episode being Attack on Titan Season 4, the final season, Part 3, the final chapters, Special 2. Wow, what a name. But anyways, AOT has been going on for over 10 years now, since 2013, and has been one of the first animes I've ever watched, and to see it develop has truly been something revolutionary. It's a show that honestly checks all the boxes: writing, characters, action, and execution. It's something that evolved with anime, to take it from a niche to kinda mainstream now. My first recommendation now to someone who's never watched anime before is most likely going to be Attack on Titan. There are many deep themes that the show explores, but the one I want to focus on is Eren's main obsession with freedom. Eren's freedom, or lack thereof, stems from his shackled prison of the three walls, which not only acts as his safety net, but also his restraint from exploring the outside world. Armin and Eren bonded over their admiration over the ocean beyond the walls. However, the origin of this shared dream comes from different motivations. While Armin's dreams stem from curiosity for the knowledge of the outside world, Eren's incentive was not necessarily the ocean itself, but a desire to see the ocean, because to them, having that ability meant you were free. As the story develops, Eren and Armin eventually reach their goal of the ocean. Oh, how long this has been overdue since the start of the series. And yet, Eren feels nothing. To him, the ocean represented a freedom outside the walls, a world without constraint of titans. But even when he looks at the ocean, he knows what's on the other side of the waters and how there's a new obstacle stopping him from reaching true freedom. Beyond the waters is a twisted society that treat the Eldians like garbage and keep them trapped in a pig pen. This completely destroys Eren's warped vision of freedom outside the walls. Now you may ask, what does Eren mean by freedom? It's a theme that was thrown around the whole series, but what does it mean to him? Well, to Eren, freedom is a world where he can do whatever he wants, with no restraint or oppression to stop him. However, in the AOT world, everything comes with a cost. In a perfect world, after the scouts explore outside the walls, they live peacefully knowing that they aren't in eternal suffering from the titans. But it isn't. What's outside the walls are not mindless titans, but rather other human beings, just like himself, who want to eliminate his own kind. It becomes even more complicated, because now his oppressors are a group of people, not something he can just fight against and move on. His perception of freedom changes in that being free is not a physical state, but rather far more intricate, and that the struggle for liberation involves complexities of human conflict and the struggle against oppression. The history between Eldians and the rest of the world dates thousands of years through war and oppression, and it's all a mess. Does history justify oppression for the actions of ancestors? Many of them are just innocent people and just happen to live in a society who are at odds with the people of Paradise. Is it ethical for Eren to destroy everything in his path in order to gain freedom for his people? Well, you don't need to ask Eren, cause motherfucker does it anyways. Good one, Eren. Eren made the decision that the best solution to achieve this scene of a false freedom was to eliminate 80% of the world population, and for the world to band against Eren to allow his friends to play the role of hero in killing him off in order to set the world in a stalemate. A world without titans after it's been dominated by them for thousands of years. Whether you think this is stupid or not, his selfish desire ended up working in his favor, and allowed his friends and the rest of the world to live peacefully for decades, until the cycle repeated. If there's one thing you can take away from AOT, it's that as long as there is humanity, there will always be war. Even without the Titan powers, the world many years later in the future still ends up in turmoil and enveloped in war. The show ends off with a young boy and his dog finding a tree very similar to the one Ymir found that started the cycle. Who knows what will happen next? Will Titans become a thing again? Or does the source of all living matter grant him a different power? Now, I want to bring you to another perspective of freedom. As amazing and realistic the ending for AOT was, it was a little bleak. Freedom only lasts for so long, and in Eren's case, he was never truly someone free, just someone chasing it. However, there's another anime character in the conversation that also represents freedom. You probably already know who I'm talking about, and it's Luffy. Nah, hear me out. Let's be civil about this. Just let me cook. Monkey D. Luffy, the protagonist of One Piece, is an energetic boy with an unwavering will to become the Pirate King and to find the legendary treasure, the One Piece. Do we know why? Not necessarily, but many speculate that it's something silly that needs absolute freedom to pull off. On the surface, Luffy seems like a very one-dimensional character. He has the same dumb quirks since the start of the series, like his bottomless stomach and his seemingly dumb expression of common sense while being an insanely strong fighter. These are all very common cliches for Shonen Jump MCs, but his character runs a little deeper than that. He's not your typical protagonist with a good versus evil mentality. He just goes on adventures around the sea, making friends and beating up anyone who bothers his friends. Luffy's pursuit of freedom is not about dominating others or seeking control. Instead, it's about living life entirely on his own terms. Luffy desires to live without the constraints of society's rules or expectations. He wants to be himself, unbothered by societal norms or restrictions. In contrast to Eren, Luffy's concept of freedom is broader and more about the overall lifestyle. It encompasses the liberty to live an unstrained life, pursue his dreams, and travel the seas as a pirate. His dream of becoming a pirate king and doing whatever he wants is in itself innately selfish. Selfish and freedom can inherently be linked together in this context, as both Eren and Luffy have selfish desires in pursuit of their freedom. Luffy's defining quality is his fearlessness and his refusal to back down, even in the face of overwhelming odds. His simple yet profound philosophy revolves around following his desires and staying true to himself. He's a beacon of optimism and inspires those around him with his infectious spirit, igniting courage within others. He gains the title of Joyboy after Zunisha hears the drums of liberation coming from Luffy's heartbeat. This title signifies Luffy's role in instigating change, inspiring others to fight for their freedom, and challenging the existing power structures in the world of One Piece. His character is a natural-born foe of the world government, who actively seeks to suppress everyone's will and freedom. Dreams are also a big part of Luffy's morals. He views dreams as personal and pivotal in defining one's identity. This is the sole reason as to why he doesn't kill his opponents, because he believes that a man's dream is as valuable as his life, and if a man's dream is crushed, then it's the same as his death. He not only wants to accomplish his dream, but encourages others to pursue their own aspirations. He constantly stands by his friends to support and enable their dreams, understanding how vital they are to each person's journey.
腹を切って俺に詫びろ。
世界一の剣豪。いいね。海賊王の仲間ならそれくらいなってもらわないと困る。
言うね。こうなったら悪名だろうがなんだろうが、俺の名を世界中に轟かせてやる。
The tones for these two shows, in a way, reflect the qualities of freedom each character represents. Both series possess depth and complexity in their storytelling, but their tones create vastly different experiences for the audience. Attack on Titan has a dark and gritty mood that evokes tension and a more mature, introspective atmosphere, whereas One Piece has a vibrant and goofy atmosphere with an art style that breaks all sorts of human anatomy. Like, this just shouldn't work at all. It's a shame how these two fandoms are always at odds with each other, as they are two sides of the same coin. Both characters represent different angles of freedom. Luffy's pursuit, while also facing challenges, is more about the journey, the camaraderie, and the freedom to live life without conforming to the expectations of society. While Eren's pursuit is more about a state of freedom, intertwined with the darker and more complex reality where freedom often comes at a cost and involves deeper moral and ethical dilemmas. They are both special in their own regards, being almost completely different characters, yet still sharing the same ideals, as they highlight varying ideologies of the nature of freedom itself. Because freedom is not a static destination, but rather a dynamic journey. It's a culmination of our dreams, our choices, and the connections we foster along the way that ultimately make up our definition of freedom.